Hey guys, what's up, your guys? The Great here, back again with another video. And today I'm going to analyze my game in round 5 against Mr. MC. He's rated 1650, and my last game I lost against 2300, so I was a little, sad about that. But he's a 2300, so I expected to lose, and so I had 2.5 out of 4. And if I wanted to win any sort of money and get a really positive rating, because already now I have a positive rating because I beat a 1940 and I drew with a 1950, so I already had a positive rating. But if I really want to get like maybe to 1900 from this tournament, which I ended up doing actually, my rating after this tournament is 1909, I think. So I managed to hit 1900 after this tournament. But if I really wanted to get, I had to win this game. And I could also win some sort of prize if I won this game with 3.5. I would win the U2000. So I started off with e4 because I need to win. He played e5, knight f3, knight c6. This is the regular variation of the king's pawn opening, excuse me. And I played d4, which is a Scotch game. Yeah, I just played d4 because I know my opponent. I've seen my opponent before, and I've seen the way he plays against the Scotch in real life. And he plays some really bad line against the Scotch, so I decided to play Scots. So sometimes I play bishop e5, the rule Lopez, and sometimes bishop c4. I kind of mix it up against e5 because e5 is really solid. So I played d4 this time, and he ended up playing that really bad opening I saw. He played this. And here I've actually looked at this position before because I've had it online, and d5 is just winning for for white. But I thought maybe he gets some sort of play with f5. Like he really has nothing, but maybe I was scared of this a little bit, something like this. And I thought I would be playing into his opening that he wanted to play. And honestly, when I'm looking at this, if he plays g6 and here and castles, it kind of looks like a King's Indian. And I didn't really want to play that. So instead I just took. And obviously the idea is that if something like this happens, then we're just winning because we have more development. So here I'd either play knight c3 or bishop e3. Probably bishop e3 to prevent bishop c5. And here, let's say he develops a piece like maybe it's kind of really hard. Maybe he plays this. Well, if I put my knight here, I would also be threatening some sort of this thing. So he actually plays c6 here, and I play knight c3. And here I just have a massive lead on development, and I'm playing rook d1. So here he would play king c7, and probably I'd castle queenside. So here I'm completely winning because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces developed. So this is the line I was expecting, or the other line, which. Oh, yep. Or the other line which is takes here, which involves takes here, and now he has the option to take here or take here, but taking here is bad because it undevelops a piece, so he'd take here. I'd play bishop c4, and he'd play f6, and we'd have the same position, but after bishop f3, he would have a little bit less options with c3 and c6, and I'm going to play rook d1 eventually, so actually, this would also be quite bad for black, and this actually reminded me of another line, which, if we look at it, um, if I played bishop c4 and he'd played knight f6 is I think a known tricky thing because after takes, let's say knight takes, it's a kind of tricky thing because bishop takes here and he can't take because he's losing his queen, or no, he's not losing his queen because of here, but if he takes, we take here, bishop here, we bring our queen back, takes, and knight takes, and here we're up a pawn. So that's also what it reminded me of, except I don't have a bishop on c4. So I took, but in here he played in my opinion, the best move, which is bishop g4. It's not the most played move, and the engine doesn't think it's the best either, but I think it really gives white a lot of chances. So here I didn't see what he's really trying to do, so I just took the pawn, and after takes here, I was actually kind of worried, because in exchange for tempo, black has 2 pieces developed, and he also has a pretty clear plan of playing queen e7, castling queenside, and like pushing these pawns up the board, maybe playing knight f6 too. Or actually, after queen e7, he's also threatening f5. So I was a little bit scared here because I expected queen e7. So I played knight c3, expecting him to play queen e7 and f5. And I think queen e7 and f5 is the best course of action here. After queen e7, I think I'd have to play h3. And he doesn't really want to go back. Yeah, I mean, he could go back, but it just doesn't look any good to me because of like bishop e5 and I'll take here once he castles. So I don't think going back is any good. But here he's threatening f5, and I didn't really like this position for me. But he ended up playing a different move, knight to e7, which is just worse than knight f6. The idea of not playing knight f6 is to keep open f5, but it's kind of bad because you're no longer castling queenside. And later after game, he told me that he doesn't really like to castle queenside. So I guess it's to each his own, and that's his preference. But I played bishop e3, and here I think he was a little bit afraid of me playing knight b4 and attacking the bishop. But knight b4 I don't think is even a threat. Like let's say he plays this h6 bad move. He's afraid of knight b4, but knight b4 isn't a threat I don't think because he can just escape with his bishop anyways. It says it's really bad, but maybe he doesn't want to do that. But I didn't think knight b5 was that big of a threat. The engine doesn't think it's that big of a threat because you can just castle, and I would have just spent a move not developing a piece. So I would have never played that move, but he played a6. I would have played it maybe in the future, but not right away. So I play bishop e2, just breaking the pin. I can't really play bishop c4 because he would play here, and I just have to go back. So I just played this right away. He castled and I castled, and here I thought I was significantly better because we have the same amount of developed pieces, but your pieces are kind of cramping your queen and your rooks. So here I think the best move is queen d7, but he played queen e8. And at first this kind of looks strange, but queen e8 is actually the best move recommended by the engine. And it's a move I would probably not consider because I guess the idea is to play like knight g6 and knight here while also maintaining pressure on this pawn. So I don't really understand queen e8, and I think queen d7 is a more natural move, but I guess queen e8 is fine too. I played knight d4 just looking to exchange pieces, and he obliged. Maybe better first was to play h3, and after bishop h4, he doesn't really want to take, because then I'd get the bishop pair. And after bishop h4, then knight d4, and I would have a little bit better of a version just with h3. And the engine thinks this is a tiny bit better too. But I played knight d4 right away. He took, and played knight c6. And here I can't really do anything. Like, if I do this, I just lose my bishop, and I think actually he might be better there. Because after I takes, he can play queen d4. I don't really see how I'm stopping the mate threat and the rook. Oh wait, yeah, I would have to play like rook d1. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like takes queen here, and I'd have to play rook here. Or no, still mate in 2. So I guess I would just have to. Oh yeah, give up the exchange, and that shouldn't be very good for me. So I couldn't defend the bishop, so I just had to go back. And here I was not happy with my position because I feel like I've given away some of my advantage. And he played b5, and I didn't really like my position. Here I should definitely play f3. And if he plays b4, well then I'm just playing knight d5. My knight's a monster there. But I kind of freaked out and I played a3 pretty quickly, which was a bad move. And he played knight e5. And here I played a really, really bad move. Here I should just play f4 or rook a1 and not worry about the knight coming to c4. But I was so worried about the knight coming to c4 that I played this move. And actually the funny enough point is that this move doesn't even prevent knight c4. He can still play knight c4 as we looked out at after the game because after, let's say I take, here the best move is bishop d4 preventing queen e5, but if I take, then he actually has queen e5 and I'll have to defend this with like a f4 and he'll just take here. And here his queen is really active, so white is barely better after maybe takes oh wait, he can't do that. Here he is really, really active, so this shouldn't be very good. Also, I'm winning this pawn, so it's around equal at that point. So b3 was just bad because he can still play knight c4. And actually, if he played knight c4, I think I would have found bishop d4. maintaining advantage, but I really shouldn't have done this. And here you can also just play knight g6 and f5 and get some sort of counterplay, but he played queen c6, which is honestly a fine move. And here I think maybe I should just play knight d5, but I was kind of afraid of f5, and I'd have to play f3, and after takes, I would have an isolated pawn. And it's a little bit harder to win that way, so I just played bishop d4, defending my knight and preparing this. So now he can't really play knight c4 because his queen can no longer come to e5, and his queen's here anyways, so it doesn't matter. Here he played f6, just defending his knight, keeping his bishop flexible. This move doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I guess it's fine. I would have personally played a rook a8, or I would have actually probably played this rook here, but actually rook here is better because you have ideas of f5, and the engine thinks that's the best move too. Here I played f3. Maybe I could have considered f4, but engine also likes f3, so it's fine. He played bishop c5, just looking to trade. And if I trade immediately, I just lose my knight, because I can't play queen e3. So I had to defend it, and here I was expecting takes, and rook here, and I thought he would have a little bit of development for his piece. But he instead just went back and lost the tempo. He gave me a free move. He gave me queen e3 and f3 for free, and so I was pretty happy. So I played knight d5 here. And an interesting fact is knight d5 undefends the c2 pawn, but the c2 pawn is not poisoned, but it would make it a lot easier for me to win, because after queen x c2, I'd play rook c1. Queen only has one square because it's defended by the knight. And here I can't take here because I lose my queen. Or actually, I can do that, but it's not very good because I'll just take here. And if he does something like this, well then I'm better because I have a rook on the 7th and I'm also up a pawn. So he probably didn't want to go into that. And here he spent a lot of time. And over these next few moves, I would say he spent at least 20 minutes each on them. I played queen c3. And here he'd spend a lot of time in the opening. And he'd spend a lot of time in the middle game. Like this is move 20. So he'd spend a lot of time. I just offered a queen trade because I thought it would be a lot easier for me to win if the queens are off the board. So here he played a bad move, queen d7. Here you should probably just go back to b7, defending this pawn, or to d8. But queen d7 was bad because, oops, sorry about that, because I can just play rook to d1, eyeing the queen, and here maybe I can threaten like some sort of takes, bishop takes, and takes here. Not right away because I don't think it works, but it shouldn't be any good. So here he just wanted to get out of that line of fire, so he ended up giving me another move. And I played bishop c5 with that move, just exchanging this bishop, which is kind of holding his position together like this. And this bishop is kind of bad because my queen is already doing a pretty good job of controlling all these dark squares. So I tried to trade off. He defended his pawn so that if I take here and he takes here, he gets a tempo. Not that it really matters. I tried to double up. He played rook d7 opposing my double up, and here I managed to blunder the game away. I managed to blunder the game away from it's +2 at the moment, and all I have to do is either just finish my double on the d file, which was my plan, or to just take here, which was my other plan, to get rid of the dark squared bishop. So if I continued with either of my plans, I would have probably not have blundered the game away. But here I played queen e3, and I think the idea of queen e3 was just to defend my rook in case, or actually, I don't know what the idea of queen e3 was. I think the idea of queen e3 was just to blunder because it's just a blunder after he takes here, I take here, and here I'll give you a few seconds to find the move. It should be pretty obvious. There's only one move that wins here. The move is c6. If you found that, congratulations. And here I just have to give away my knight, so here I would probably play queen b6. He'd take, and he has a knight for 2 pawns. And yes, I do have a passed pawn, but it's not very good, because he can almost immediately also play this, in which he's threatening to take here, and it's just looking really bad for me. So queen e3 was a blunder, but here he was under around 5 minutes, so he was around 4 minutes here, and so he played queen g6. which just loses the game immediately because, well, I guess that was my idea, was to take here and not have to take the bishop and not have to move my queen. So here I think you kind of can't take with the rook because you lose your queen. So he took with a pawn, and here I just win the exchange, and my queen's no longer attacked. So I guess that was my idea, but I spent 1 second on queen e3 just seeing, oh wait, it he's no longer attacking my queen. I didn't even calculate bishop there, which I saw around 1 second after I played the move. So, but thankfully me, he made a counter blunder to my blunder, so I was pretty happy. He played rook c6. I just took the rook, and I'll just quickly pass through all the other moves. So here, if I take immediately, let's say I take immediately, he has some sort of threats here by threatening mate. This is still completely winning for white, but I just didn't want to allow this, so I played c3 first, making sure he can't mate me. He played knight e5. If my queen moves here, well then he wins the exchange back. Like, if I do this, he wins the exchange right back. And here he's actually winning. So, can't move my queen. So I took here instead. He moved his rook away, and I'm just going to quickly go through these moves. h3 to stop knight g4 after f4. He played a5, which is doing nothing. f4, he can't go to g4 because of my previous move. He went back. I attacked the pawn. He pushed it. I took and didn't allow. Took with this pawn and took with the rook so that he can't get to c2, because if I took with this pawn, he could go here. He played here attacking this pawn. I played here doing nothing at all, just waiting for him to run out of time. He played this move, and I played this move just to get out of the pin. And here he ran out of time. So a nice win for me. An unfortunate blunder with this queen e3 move. That's the only sort of mistake I think I made. All my other moves were pretty good. I think this a3 move was an inaccuracy. This b3 move was definitely an inaccuracy. And this queen e3 move. So I think I made a few mistakes, but in the end I managed to win and I won $50, which was tied for under 2,000, which was okay with me. The 2,300 ended up winning the whole tournament and winning the cash prize. So that's the end of today's video, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and check out my other videos in this tournament so that you can get caught up with how I managed to get 3.5 out of 5. Bye!